Hello everyone, Robert Rambles here, and welcome back to WoW Classic Hardcore and our Troll Mage playthrough. Thank you guys for clicking on the video and joining me here today. I do appreciate it, and I hope you're doing well.
Be quick about your business.
Let's quickly vendor all of our junk. We can actually equip the cloak. We don't have one.
Watch your back.
And let's set out. We are looking for scavenger paws, duskbat wings, and we need some rattle cage skeletons slain. And then we need Sarkoth's mangled claw. That's for Valley of Trials. That's right. Let's go ahead. We're just gonna abandon that one because we're not gonna be going back to do those. There we go. Okay, perfect. Let's renew our buffs now. So we got 30 minutes on intellect and frost armor. So we're looking for rattle cages. They should be around here. Yeah, I see a couple. And then we also need the wolves and the bats. I'm gonna go ahead and make a bunch of water now. And then we'll drink. Eventually, over time, we'll make more per cast. Right now, we're making only 4 per cast, which is not very much. I feel like the music, such as it is really, really low. I think I'm going to turn it up a bit. It could be just the nature of the soundtrack here is kind of low-key. That's a little bit better. I was reflecting this morning on all the things that have gotten our hardcore characters killed, and from what I can remember, with a few exceptions that we'll go through, every character has gotten killed because of the respawns in some way. Because of respawns. The shaman died in Stonetail into a deforester that respawned and started hurling fireballs at us. Let's see. Obviously, the gnome warrior died to respawns in Moonbrook. To a pillager. Also, fireballs. Fireballs are deadly, it turns out. Who else? Now, the warlock died because we went down one side of a hill, the pet went down the other side, and we pulled a bunch of ads. So that's not really a respawn issue. Obviously, yesterday on the druid, we bit it. because of respawns behind us that we just didn't account for. Sometimes it's hard to account for them because of how fickle the respawn rate is. You know, things could respawn in 30 seconds, things could respawn in a minute and a half, things could respawn in 2.5 minutes. Speaking of respawns, it's really hard to know. And so far it really does seem like unpredicted respawns, or just respawns in general, where you don't anticipate them, is the deadliest thing to a hardcore character. The deadliest thing that I have gotten to encounter. And I'm wondering, how do you cope with that? How do I remove that from the equation? I really can't. The respawn rate, how fast or slow mobs respawn, the exact location that they spawn into, like whether or not you see beforehand that there's going to be enemies there before you go stand in an area, like you don't have too much control over all of that stuff. All I can really think of is putting in a lot of effort to stay on the very outskirts of a camp and never really working into camps. The problem with that is sometimes you're forced to, but usually when you're forced to, it's to kill a named guy. We've kind of taken a route where, with as busy as most of the zones are, sometimes we're not going to be able to kill named guys anyway. So that was what I was thinking, like maybe play in such a way that you never fully penetrate an enemy area, you just kind of work the outskirt back and forth. Kind of just killing the scouts, essentially. I don't know if that will always be possible, but we'll kind of analyze each area as we go along. Because that's what's killed most of my characters, has been respawns, and I feel like there must be something I can do, some way to play to ingrain in myself that we can avoid that. And the alternative to respawns was usually heals. But man, we had, I think it was 5. I never went back and watched the replay. I'm not quite over it yet. But I think it was 5 enemies, and we just didn't get the heals up in time. The priest was easy, because the priest you could bubble, and basically no matter what it was, you had a couple of seconds to kind of get some distance. But the priest died to the elevator boss, so the priest did not have an issue with ads. But we never really got to find out how far that would take us. I think that on the Mage, at least until we have all of our utility, until we have Frost Nova, Mana Shield, Frost Barrier, until Blink, until we have all that stuff, we're gonna have to play super careful if we want this character to live at all. It's hard to say what my skill level is on a Mage. It's a class that I'm super comfortable with, but it doesn't mean I'm good at it.
What do you require?
I require inventory space. What say you?
Victory for Sylvanas.
Ah, I see. We need 1 more Scavenger Paw, and we need 6 more Rattle Cage. Who do we have playing at 9:23 in the morning on a Wednesday? Over 50 people in the zone. Let's go like levels 1 to 2. I'm always interested in this stuff. I don't know why. I like to see how many people are playing. I see a wolf out here. I don't see any rattle cages. There don't seem to be many alive in general. Probably due to the number of players. But there definitely aren't any this way. I will say I like the Mage for its ability to kill stuff quickly. I think that's going to be a pretty big change of pace. I mean, the cat started to kill stuff pretty quickly, but for a long time we were on the bear. So I just kind of got used to a bit of a slower kill rate. Oh, here's some rattle cages. Let's get a little bit of distance here. Start practicing some decent habits. We're not at max range, but it's okay. And ideally, we kill things before they get to us. Even if that means blowing through our mana constantly and having to drink up, I feel like it's going to be worth it. And so it begins. I'm assuming that the later in the day it gets, the more and more people get on. That's kind of what I'm assuming. I'm still kind of amazed. Like I said, every time I start a new character, the starting zones are more and more busy. I don't know exactly when it was that we started our hardcore journey. I think it must have been over 6 months ago now that we logged into the Orc Shaman for the first time. Began this little adventure we've been on ever since. I'm really wanting my first level 60 hardcore character to happen here on Bloodsail Buccaneers. But if I don't get my stuff together, it's probably not going to happen until we're on official Blizzard, our hardcore server. And I feel like that might happen for a couple of reasons. I feel like when we get to the hardcore Blizzard servers, there's going to be less rules, less of the rules that we follow today. I don't think they're going to preclude grouping in the open world. And if they do, I feel like there has to be an exception somehow made for taking on elite quests. So that'll be a big change. You'll be able to get some better loot and get some more quest experience by doing those elite quests with a group. I feel like it's possible that the one dungeon run per character will go away. To me, that's always been more of a roleplay rule, because, you know, Bloodsail Buccaneers is kind of a roleplay server. That's what it's labeled as, and I've always kind of thought that the one boss per character run was just a roleplay rule. That made perfect sense. Like, how could you kill a boss multiple times? You couldn't do it. Except it's a video game, so you can do it. That's the great thing about it being a video game. And I love classic dungeons. I love the pace at which hardcore groups have to move through classic dungeons. That, you know what I mean? I love that slow pace. I love it when, like, I'm the fastest person in the group that's going too quickly. You know, like me, when I'm the one who's moving too fast. Like, that's what I like. And I don't move very fast, as some of you guys know. I don't do anything very quickly. So yeah, I'd love to be able to do more 5-mans. And I don't see why we wouldn't be able to. Every time you step into that environment, you're putting your life in the hands of other players.
I'm listening.
So it's risk versus reward. The reward being gear.
God all day. Trust no one.
In a lot of playthroughs, I read a lot of the quests, and when we're beyond like the level 20s and 30s, and we get into some zones that we haven't seen in a while, then I'll probably do that again.
This had better be good.
But for right now, we're just playing the game, just relaxing and playing the game. Most of us have seen this stuff before. If you haven't seen any of this stuff and you'd like to hear all the quests read out, I have plenty of playthroughs, especially of the starting zones, where I read all of the quests. So we're looking for scavenged goods here in the village. Eventually we're going to have to go clean out the mine of spiders. And I believe a widow wants us to find her husband's remains and have them buried in the cemetery. I swear I have memories of original vanilla, some of these guys, the rattle cages, maybe being aggressive as I ran through here looking for the crates. I remember having to be trepidatious, you know what I mean? And if they were all not aggressive, I wouldn't have had the feeling of having to like carefully poke around. I would have just been running around like we are now. Does anybody else remember any aggressive guys here? I'll try to get better at giving out buffs when I see people, but there are so many people and buffs are kind of pricey mana-wise. It costs 60 mana, as opposed to like a Frostbolt that costs 25 mana, so it's actually pricey to run around buffing people. You don't want to run around buffing people, get into combat with something, and realize you have no mana. Because that would be a bummer to potentially get killed because you were kindly buffing everybody in the vicinity. Alright, that's all the scavenged goods. I think we have to go down the road to find Samuel. He's hanging out with a bunch of undead buddies a little ways to the northeast. Let's see. He's not here right now. I think we can... Oh, there he is. He's actually right in front of us. I think we can do this one. There's no line waiting for him, so that's always a good thing.
What now? Farewell.
Hello?
Alright, that's level 6. Let's talk to the trainer here.
I am forsaken.
We get Conjure Food. That's great. Fire Blast, that's an instant cast spell, 40 mana, blast the enemy for 24 to 32 fire damage, 20 yard range, so a little bit closer than some of our other spells here. Frostbolt has the 30 yard range, and Fireball has a 35 yard range. And then we get Fireball rank 2, which is just increased damage, but the other thing that happens is the mana cost goes up by 15. So we're dealing 31 to 45 as opposed to rank 1, which deals 16 to 20. It's a lot more damage, but it is becoming quite costly to cast it.
Abound.
And there we go. That should be good for now. Let's make sure we sell everything.
What now? Embrace the shadow.
Okay, so next up, all we have to do right now is go after the spiders. And we might be basically done here. I don't remember really any other quests out of here. I was gonna say, no, the Crusader stuff, the Scarlet Crusade stuff starts over in Brill. So yeah, we might be moving on to Brill pretty soon, which would be great. Obviously, we don't get a lot of experience by doing this area, but I feel like it's worth it. It's an easy clear, and it gets us properly into the zone. That was big. Nice. 57 crit. Now we do have to work our way in a little bit for the older ones. So we have young night webs here on the outside, and we have regular night webs deeper in. I'm realizing that with the mage, I'm gonna have to have a lot more coffee ready. Like, next to me, because it affords me so many more opportunities to drink coffee than most other characters that can go more from pull to pull. Yes, we are in first person here. Well, if this person is coming out, it's likely that they've cleared quite a bit. We can come back here and take a look. We do have respawns. We should probably keep an eye out behind us as well. Yeah, we do have some popping back up behind us, so we might want to just head back out that way. No need for us to get completely surrounded in here. I find it interesting sometimes what the game considers line of sight, considering that most of the time I can shoot right through hills. It's always kind of intrigued me how they decide what to code in such a way that it triggers line of sight, and obviously like they don't do that for like the landscape for the most part. It just seems to be obviously in interior spaces. Which in a way makes sense. At the same time, it is weird that you can shoot right through trees. But I can foresee some things happening if we couldn't shoot through trees. It'd probably be really annoying to be a player. And there'd probably be ways you can like manipulate enemies. I mean, I manipulate casters inside of buildings all the time though. So it's and you can manipulate enemies around fences. It's already kind of easy to do that kind of stuff.
Speak quickly. I am forsaken. Beware.
Our inventory is full.
What would you ask of death? Watch your back. What would you ask of death?
You'll be happy to know we appear to be making progress in the mine, thanks in no small part to your efforts. Next, we are after some Scarlet guys. My scouts have reported that a detachment of the Scarlet Crusade is setting up camp southeast of here. The Scarlet Crusade is a despicable organization that hunts us, and they will not rest until every undead Lich King Scourge or No is destroyed. We must strike them first. Be careful, their unholy zeal makes them a dangerous adversary.
Remember, patience.
Alright, so they
Discipline.
are going to be over to the east. Well, that's cool. I didn't think they introduced you to them until we moved on a little bit. Oh, we do have a chest piece to equip. There we go. We've traded our robes for a vest and some cutoffs. So here is kind of the first time we can practice not pushing into the enemy encampment, but kind of staying on the outskirts. Because even if we clear a way, what's happening to me is that the way doesn't stay clear. You come up here, it respawns behind you, you back up even a little bit, and you've pulled. Or sometimes you don't even have to back up. So I'm going to try to practice staying on the outskirts here, and we'll see how it goes. The natural tendency is to work your way in. But I feel like that's a mistake. And on a mage or any kind of ranged character, it might be easier to kind of stay on the outskirts. We'll be able to pull enemies that are a bit further in while staying a ways away. Like, we can probably get these two here safely without having to step in at all and put ourselves at risk of having a respawn drop on top of us. Because we don't have to move from here to get both of these guys. And see how we already have all these guys back up. We don't have to work our way in. We don't have to work our way anywhere. With the respawn rate the way it is, unless we're going towards a specific objective or item, we can hang out all the way out here. Look at that. See, we got out of there just in time. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. We just have to be really aware of where the actual line of enemies starts, and we can't use the questy markers for that because it's not really accurate. We have to literally use our eyes and senses to see, look, where are they spawning in at? All the way back here. So far we're doing okay. We haven't had any respawns nab us. Ideally, I would have liked for him to come a little bit further out. Even this is too close. We got too close to them. Alright, that's all of the armbands we need. I think this chains into maybe one more Scarlet quest to actually go after a named guy back there at the camp. But again, I could be confusing that with something out of Brill. We will find out.
This had better be good.
Those fools, they happily send themselves to their own graves. If only they listened to reason, Rambles, perhaps we could sit them down for a reasonable discourse. And then he laughs. Reports from my superiors in Brill indicate that an agent of the Scarlet Crusade was dispatched from the Scarlet Monastery and sent here to Deathnell. According to the reports, the messenger possesses important information on his person. I do not have further details, but whatever it is, we must have it. You're the most qualified person I have to send, Rambles. Find that messenger and bring me whatever info you can find.
Trust no one.
We get a staff. It doesn't have any statistics on it, but it's going to be more melee damage when I decide to swing at something's head. Can't go wrong there. Even here, like, I'm not sure that killing these guys is a good idea. Here's the problem with clearing in. The problem with clearing in is that when the enemies aren't in the world, you don't know exactly precisely 100% where they're going to pop up. It's also a lot harder to track a spawn point where something might pop up than to just pay attention where stuff is and avoid it. So sometimes I think that when we clear into these big camps, instead of just kind of skulking around and looking for opportunities, we create a situation where we get ambushed by stuff that we don't see coming. As opposed to the situation where, like, we see these guys, we know where they're at. Like, now, I don't know when these guys are going to be up, but if they were up, I could just be avoiding them right now. And I wouldn't have to worry. We're going to pull this guy, and we're going to burn him down. We're going to get the other guy. No, we didn't get the convert. Oh, that's tricky. Oh, we did get the convert. Way too late. Way too late for him to help the messenger. Sad. Hey, look at that. That's incredibly lucky. We just got a 6-slot bag. Great, that's awesome. Yeah, we didn't get any over in Duratar, so I'm glad we came here. And there is the Scarlet document. But yeah, I do feel like sometimes, like, the method of clearing into a camp and, like, just cutting your way in, killing everything in your path, it can backfire. I think there are definitely some enemies that have to be taken out as you make your way towards an objective. Like, guys that have a big patrol that they go on, probably take those guys out and it's fine. At the same time, again, you take them out, you don't know when they come back, you don't know where they're at on their patrol, they could ambush you. Whereas if you leave them up and track where they're at, you don't lose them when they have to respawn. I don't know, it's interesting. I've been trying to figure out what mentalities I could change to be more successful at hardcore.
What would you ask of death?
New orders continue to build up a camp near the ruined city. Nothing we didn't know already. And what's this? A map of the dispositions of some of their field commanders and agents. These will need to be taken to my superior, Executor Zygand in Brill. With the information here, we'll be able to deal a decisive blow to the Scarlet Crusade. Your services have been useful here in Deathnell, but I need someone to deliver this to Zygand, and I believe he'll be able to find you more appropriate work.
Beware the living.
Alright, we are on our way out of here. Heading on into Brill. We could probably vendor one more time before we just run away. Would be okay.
What is it?
There we go. Let's go ahead and equip the staff and we'll sell the old one.
Beware the living. What is it? Trust no one.
Fields of Grief. Do we want to do this now?
I am forsaken.
Well, we're going to end up coming back here anyway for Scarlet Crusaders. I just don't know how long that's going to be from now. Let's just go ahead and do it. Who cares if we have to come here twice? It'll just be more kill experience if we have to kill to get to the pumpkins and then come back to kill them later. We're higher level than we would be by maybe a whole level, so I feel like, yeah, see, these guys are level 6. I feel like this is fine. Okay, we got an ad, which I didn't want, but what are you gonna do? Probably gonna have to make some food soon. Now, again with this, I don't really want to clear my way in. What I want to do is find a way in with the least amount of enemies in my path. Because that way I can pay attention to where everybody's at. Nobody seems to be moving very much. I'm not going to get surprised by anybody. And then I'll pick the ones that I need to kill to get where I want to go. But there was no need for us to clear out this whole area here. We don't need to do that. Well, this guy's level 7. Well, let's hit him with a couple of fireballs there. Now he's taken off. We'll just hit him in the back of the head here. There we go. And see, we'll actually get out of here with minimal fighting. The pumpkins seem to respawn faster than the enemies right now. Still lots of people here in this area. And yeah, this actually turns in back in Brill, it looks like. We do need to learn skinning soon, but yeah, there's a skinning trainer right over here. So we'll make the run down there as soon as we get the Brill, and we'll make sure to pick that up. Because yeah, otherwise we're leaving all these corpses on the ground. Well, we didn't leave them, somebody left them, but the point is they could be skinned by us, and we don't have a skinning yet or a skinning knife. Basically just leaving money laying around. I was hoping we'd run into Gordo, but we didn't. He's a giant abomination, kind of hard to miss. And we haven't seen him. It could be that he's closer to town. I am not sure if he crosses the bridge, though, does he? Perhaps he does. Perhaps he does.
What is it?
Deathguard Dillinger here has a putrid task for us. He wants us to collect 7 putrid claws from some of the undead nearby.
Our time will come.
Still no sign of Gordo. Maybe we'll run into him while we are afield. I hope so. He had a quest that was then going to turn in here that turns into another quest. And
Hello.
there's the Fields of Grief turning. And there's level 7.
Beware the
Now we're going to feed a poisoned pumpkin to a prisoner, as gruesome as that is. 5 vials of Darkhound blood
victory for Sylvanas.
for some apothecary work. Let's report to Executor Zegand.
What now?
Tell him about the Scarlet Crusade, give him the
Trust
documents.
No one. Beware. Our
There we
enemy
go.
is abound.
Should have at least one quest to pick up here in the town hall.
What is it?
See, the mass graves southwest of Garen's haunt to the north were made to accommodate the impressive number of deaths Tirisfal suffered when the plague first came. The bodies in these graves have so far been spared in undead, but the Scourge now send Rothhide gnolls to gather the corpses and use them to bolster their armies. This cannot be allowed. Your task is twofold: slay the Rothhide at the mass grave and Garen's haunt, and gather from them the embalming ichor that gives them life.
Dark Lady, watch over you.
I haven't got all day.
I think it would be smart to go ahead and set our Hearthstone here. Let's do that.
Speak quickly.
I'm listening. Goodbye. Embrace the shadow. Do not seek death.
Spoiler alert, he doesn't make it.
What now?
The Agumon family was the most prosperous family in Tirisfal Glades. I used to work their mills before the plague. When the Scourge first came, the Agumons fortified their home and convinced those in their employ to remain and help them defend. We were fools, but at least we were loyal fools. The Agumons in their pride doomed us to undeath, and now they are minions of the Scourge. Serve the Forsaken by defeating the Agumons who fell to the plague. Serve me by bringing me their remains.
Remember, patience, discipline.
What did we miss over here? Maggot Eye, that's the poster, right? Here it is. Okay, let's go down and get our skinning and our skinning knife. And maybe on the way we will be able to get some Darkhound blood. we can probably take this quest now, but we can't do it now. Rear guard patrol. Which one is this?
I am forsaken.
8 bleeding horrors and 8 wandering spirits near the bulwark.
Beware, our enemies abound.
Speak quickly.
Embrace the
What
shadow.
Of course, none of these guys sell knives, so we
Stop
actually
leaving,
have to make sure we go back to town to get a skinning knife from the trade goods guy.
I have exactly what you need.
Alright, there we go. There's the skinning knife.
Beware.
And guys, I'm going to take a quick break here. I need to go get some food in me, and then we're going to carry on right from here, right away. We are going to go just to the north, I guess. We're going to go to the north. We need to get the Darkhound blood. Over here we have Putrid Claws, and we'll come up here and we'll do the Rawhide Mongrels. So yeah, that is the plan. Thank you guys so much for being here with me. I really do appreciate your support. Take care of yourselves out there, and take care of each other, and we will see you back here again very soon. Bye for now.